So now we're going to talk about creating a character. In ZBrush, there are literally dozens and dozens and dozens of ways to do the exact same thing, which is really nice because it gives the artist the freedom to tackle whatever task they're trying to do, how they want to do it. So I will be showing you, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 different ways you could start a character. And for this project, right, it needs to be a bipedal character. So first things first, I'm going to do document, new document, and no, I don't want to save this guy. And I am going to press the light box and just grab this Dynamesh sphere. I'm going to start with this one. So this is just a higher resolution. I'm going to start with this guy right here. But before we get going with the character, we need to talk about Dynamesh. So Dynamesh is located, it's automatically turned on since we picked this Dynasphere, under Geometry, and then Dynamesh. So it's already on, but let me show you what that does. So typically, if it's off, right, I'm pulling out geometry and it's stretching. So this geometry looks really nice here, and this will allow me to sculpt no problem down here. Okay, that looks pretty good. But as soon as I start to sculpt up here, it's like just garbage. Okay, that's because my geometry is nice and stretched, which is not good. So with Dynamesh, if I click it the first time, you're going to see the effect. We went from polygons being stretched and we hit Dynamesh, and now it is evenly spaced, the best that ZBrush can, polygons all the way through this shape. And now since it's turned on, I don't have to press it again. So watch this. I'm going to use clay buildup to pull this out, and it's stretching, right? I'm going to hold down Control or Command on a Mac, left click and drag, and then let go. So that is how I do the Dynamesh command after it's already been pressed. So it's put polygons all over the place, which is great. I could smooth some of this out. And let's do that again. So I'm going to use my move brush this time. Actually, let's do snake hook. That's a lot more fun. So snake hook. This is my polyframe, just shows me my polyflow, my edges. So with snake hook, right, I can pull and then it starts to stretch. Hold down Control, left click and drag, kind of like you're masking, and then let go. Then I could smooth some of this out. So with Dynamesh, I am able to very quickly rough out the form of my character. And we're going to do that right now. So I'm going to use the move brush. And then I'm going to do like a bust, so like a head. So I'm going to bring this out and then bring kind of a face kind of down on this alien guy that I'm creating right here. Smooth that out. And currently I'm just using the move brush. Okay, and then I'm going to get to a point where it's going to be difficult. It starts to stretch. So I can turn on Dynamesh. Yay, now I get more geometry. So from there, I can continue pushing and pulling until I get a good shape that I want. I'm not using any reference, I'm just kind of creating something. So it won't be great, but that's okay. And if you need more resolution with your Dynamesh, you can change that here and I can adjust that. I start low and then I can adjust until I get more detail. Right, but I want to start low, get that basic block out form. I can use other brushes here too. So maybe now is a good time for me to carve out some eyes. Very rough where they're going to be, Maybe a nose here. I don't really like that. Let's do something like this. Okay, so now my character is kind of starting to take shape here. I'm going to do a Dynamesh again. And then, like I said, I can bump this up. Don't do that, not that much. Let's do like 128 or something in Dynamesh. So I need to make a change. So I'm going to hold Shift and Smooth, use Dynamesh, and now you can see I've got some more detail. I only use Dynamesh to block out my character to get like the appendages pulled out. So we started with a sphere here. All right, I use the Move tool to start moving, and then I will Dynamesh this because I needed more geometry because stuff started to get kind of stretched. Keep moving and pulling and pushing. Started sculpting, and then I Dynameshed again to get some more detail. But like I said, I personally don't use Dynamesh till the very end. I will get too many polygons. But let's try to pull out some arms on this guy. And this time I'm going to use the mask. So hold down Control, and then I'm able to mask this out. While holding Control, if I click outside of my mesh, I can then invert my mask. So invert the selection. Whatever is dark, you cannot touch. Right? So I cannot affect anything that is dark. So I can only affect these guys, the white part. So I'm going to do that again. Hold down Control, paint where I'm wanting, and then invert that selection. And now I'm going to use my move top. Well, let's just do snake hook because that's so much fun. Grab a snake hook brush, pull this out, and it's really thin. So I'm going to use that inflate brush, kind of beef that up some. And then hold Control, kind of like you're getting into Dynamesh. Left click and drag, that'll clear the mask. Hold Control, left click and drag to do the Dynamesh command. So now I've got some arms. And then I could do the same thing. But instead of drawing and painting on this guy, painting my mask on, I'm going to use my Lasso tool, hold down Control, and now I have this selected. If I hold Control and tap on my mesh, it will kind of give it a fall off, so it won't be so sharp. And then I can use my move brush, pull down this guy, or I could use move in my gizmo. Pull that down. Don't worry about the stretching, right? Dynamesh, we can fix it. That looks great. Hold down Control, left click and drag, and then do it again for the Dynamesh. And you can see this happening here. Cool. So let's go and start smoothing some of this out. And notice like it's hard to smooth. That's because my resolution is so high. So I'm going to change that back down to like 64. Smooth it and then Dynamesh it. And if you watch this number up here, like this is polygons, right? So there's 400,000 down to 95. So I can smooth a little better. It's just lower poly so I can work with it more. I would do this process for the legs, the fingers, the toes, keep Dynameshing, adjusting, and then when everything is all ready to rock, like I wouldn't have this detail in here. It's very blocky, just blocking out the forms. Then I could come in here and do so I'm going to Dynamesh this, what's called Z-remesher. So look what happens here. We've got 100,000 polygons, but for our character, like this is okay to sculpt on. It's really not bad because we have plenty of geometry, but I'm going to press Z-remesher here. And this is my target polygon count. So I'm going to say, yep, let's do like 10, roughly 10. hit Z-Remesher, watch how the polygons will change. Now I will lose some detail. That's why you don't really want to detail your character first. So look at this nice polygon flow. All right, so you follow polygon to polygon and it has this nice flow. And now we're at 17,000 faces. So we went from this, and we lost some of that detail. Went from this to this. Let's see, there to there. But now I have a nice base mesh that I can sculpt on and then add divisions to. Okay, so then I can come in here, do all that fun stuff, add my divisions, detail him all out, do all the sculpting that I want to do. Cool. And then add divisions when I need them. Okay, remember I can go to my lowest subdivision level to make giant changes, like if I wanted to move his arm, kind of move that back. Maybe he's got spaghetti arms or something. But you kind of get the point. So that was Dynamesh.